Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Hi-Fi Mods, my channel on the improving sound quality through tweaks and upgrades. This is the follow-up to the previous video on the HFL LiYi RP headphone amplifier. In this follow-up video, I'll be addressing the questions on everybody's mind. How good is this amplifier in driving not just normal headphones, but the Susvara OG and the AB's AB1266? To address this issue on its own may be irrelevant, because there will be no comparison. So I decided to share with you the my 3-speaker amplifier systems that I have used till now to drive the Susvara and the Abyss. Now, if you're wondering what are those things on top of the amp, these are my solid aluminum billets that I have used to drain the heat away from the amplifier when it's on power. I found that after changing the op amps to the Burson V7 Vivids, the amp runs quite a bit hotter. Not hot to not burn. It won't burn you to the touch, but it's hot. I feel safer in doing this to cool down the stable operating temperature of the amp. Electronics, especially Hi-Fi amplifiers, tend to last a lot longer if you take care of heat dissipation and heat soak issues, and its detrimental effects on the internal components of a piece of hi-fi gear. Well, here are my speaker amplifier systems that I use to run my headphones on. On the top rack are the LiYi A3210 stereo amplifiers. They are 30-watt Class A bias MOSFET amplifiers, known for a sweet top end, strong bass, and especially the mid-range. It can be pretty wonderful, almost tube-like sounding. The two below are Burmeister 933 clones. They are 120-watt 8 ohms stereo amplifiers. Well, the question on everybody's mind is that how can anybody run headphones using speaker amplifiers? The trick is to get the amplifier to see the headphone load as close as 8 ohms as possible. So you will see here that I have this little gadget here. Inside is just actually a wire-wound 25-watt 10 ohm Vichy wire-wound resistor. High power, high quality. If you do the math, putting a 10 ohm resistor across the plus minus speaker tabs, and then you connect something like 45 or ohm Abyss or a 60 ohm Susvara, the amplifier will see the combined load is close to 8 ohms as you can get. So the stereo amp operates within its comfortable zone at full power rating. It's not a problem. Now, what about headphone protection? There you have the two boxes, one black, one silver, easily highlighted. These are speaker, I'll call it headphone protection boxes. Inside are, of course, 2 channels, left and right. Each channel has an Omron, O-M-R-O-N, speaker relay, handles short circuit, thermal startup, shutdown, protection for whatever load is connected. Usually it's a speaker, but in our case or application case here, you connect a typical speaker wire, but it's terminated not in banana or spades, but with a 4-pin female jack, right, in which you can connect your 4-pin XLR headphone to. So there you have it. Safe and very effective means of using speaker ramps to drive your headphones. And here is the third amplifier system I use for driving my headphones. A full tube amplifier. It's a Brazilian make Audiopax, AUDIOPAX, stereo 88. 1 KT88 per channel, 12 AT7 driver tubes, 1 per channel. It's 15 watts per channel and 8 ohms. Very, very quiet, 93, 94, 95 dB at idle, so you don't hear any distortion, any hiss, hum, whatever. Very quiet transformers. So driving inefficient, relatively high impedance headphones like Susvara and the Abyss, you have perfect pitch black background. It's a wonderful combination. Very nice and warm sound. Bass very strong, punchy, a little bit rounded off in the sub bass, but that's what you get from running a tube amp. So now let's look at sound impressions. First, you have the topic of this review, the HFL LiYi amplifier. I was too hasty in passing judgment on the amplifier when the unit was actually quite new from the factory when I received it, and I did my review. And worse still, the Burson op amps have not been burning. It was just newly installed, only a few hours, and I was a bit premature in passing judgment. It is now running maybe close to 100 hours now, and it sounds, in short, wonderful. The Burson V7 Vivids makes all the difference. So on various genres of music, from country and western, electronic, adult-oriented rock, heavy metal, jazz, traditional jazz, ensemble, classical, semi-classical music, new age music. It sounds balanced, it sounds warm, it sounds extended, has strong bass, and it's very efficient. The Susvara is probably on the 12 o'clock, and the Abyss is about 10:30. Even my 4Z i5 and Oni AR5000 can be run at about 7 to 8 o'clock. This is on the gain of 4.5 times. I've tried the gain from no gain, 3 times, and 7 times max. 7 times max is hard sound, overdriving it. No gain, weak and puny sounding. 3 times is good for the 4Z and the ARs, but on the tougher headphones like the Abyss and the Susvara, sounds a little bit lacking in dynamism. So 4.5 is the right way to go. For the more sensitive headphones like the i5 and the AR5000, I would tweak the volume setting on the HQ player, my music playback software, and cut the sound output by about -12 dB. Now it doesn't, or -14 dB, depending on which model. 4Z is probably 12, and the AR5000 is -12, as it's a bit more sensitive. It's not as bad as it sounds. 3 decibels from EQ, and another 3 decibels from HQ player DSC 256 upsampling. So I'm only cutting from 6 to 7, 8 dB. And the 2 headphones perform well at 4.5 times gain. That is the sweet spot. Now, how does HFL compare to the other 3 amplifier systems? Well, the most romantic would be the tube amp, the Audiopax. That has typical tube sound, and it really sounds wonderful. Anything from jazz to orchestral to vocals to film scores and all that. But when it comes to the ultimate in punch and quick transient types of music, the Burmeister 933 would come up in front. It has 8 amps normal current and 17 amps output current at peak. So it will drive anything, and electronic music like Touch Sultana, like Daft Punk would sound just simply marvelous. The Class A bias 30 watts on the top tier, that is actually an all-rounder. It sounds good on everything. So if you ask me, then where would the LiYi place? I would say that it sounds very much like these two Class A amps on top. In fact, I think the LiYi is heavily Class A bias, especially with the Vivids, Burson Vivids. It runs so hot. So the sound signature is very similar to the two Class A 30 watt. And the power output is, of course, this 30 watt at 32 ohms is only about 7 to 8 watts, but it's Class A. Class A trumps everything else except tubes. So my conclusion would be, is the LiYi a good buy? For 350, 360 US dollars, and then you add on the 400 US for the op amps upgrade, I think it's a good buy. We call it almost a steal for the sound quality. It's still running in now, so it sounds better and better. I've heard the similarly priced headphone amps like the Uni S17 Pro. Not much comments at the Can Jam, but I prefer my LiYi. That's all I'll say. Anytime. The high frequency on the LiYi, this amp, is sweet. As they say in the maker's data, it's almost a tube amp in the circuit design, semi-open loop feedback circuit. The 4 Burson op amps really makes the difference being inserted into the circuit. So depending on the music genre and my mood, I've got 4 flavors of music of sound to listen to. I think that is really what I can say. So I will put the links of the HFL amp below, so that anybody who wants to look at the possibility of buying it can help yourself to it. There is no kickback for me. I'm just doing it to share my experience of this amplifier with everybody who's watching this channel or otherwise. So thank you again for joining me on this video review of the HFL. This will conclude the HFL LiYi amplifier review. I will go into much further detail on the use of speaker amps for driving headphones in a separate review in the near future. So until then, thank you and goodbye. Well, as a postscript to the full review above, I've tested the HFL amp again using Daft Punk and Touch Sultana. The sub-bass rumbles and rocks. It is fantastic. So it's a very, very good bass response from this amp.